I'm Donna Balzer, donnabalzer.com. Thanks for joining me. Today, I'm going to look at leeks. Leeks are simple and frustrating. So today, I'm going to talk just a little bit about how I seeded them, how I'm transplanting them, and what I'm hoping to do next. So today is really just about leeks and about that first early stage when you're growing your leeks. Thanks for joining me. These are some leeks that I seeded from seed I saved. Now leeks don't bloom, well, they don't bloom the first year. So if you're lucky, they'll overwinter in the garden and you'll see a big sprout the next spring and a flower, a really pretty white flower. And from that, in fall, you can collect seeds. I collected seeds, I think about 3 years ago, so I certainly don't collect them every year. And look at this, I've got these little seedlings. And these are seeded mid-February and it's now almost mid-March, so they're about a month old. I have been trimming them, as you can see, just cutting off the tops of the leeks, because if they get too tall, they're hard to transplant. And they're just too tall under my grow lights. So these have been in my grow lights, but I'm taking them outside today into my greenhouse where I'm going to transplant them. I'm going to put them in the little containers and then I'm just going to leave them here in the greenhouse because they're pretty tough. Leeks are a plant that can take frost and it will probably still freeze. I don't heat this greenhouse, but it probably will still freeze this spring because it's still early. So let's get going. First I take them out of their little container. You can see those beautiful little roots there. Then I just set them down. Well, you can kind of break them apart. This is a very light soil mix. This is a pro mix and it's very light. So it doesn't stick like a clay would stick or a true soil. This is really a fake soil. And this soil is what I start all my little seedlings in because it's just so easy to separate the plants. I'm going to set that down here so that I can reach them easily. Now, I'm not too fussy about containers. These were some containers that were left over, I think from flowers from last year. And I like to continuously reuse my plastic trays. So I just set those containers in. They're not going to fit exactly because this container was not purchased to fit inside this tray. I've got my Pro Mix soil right here in a bucket. I'm just going to fill up my trays. And I don't pack it down. You see, I'm not packing down the soil. I'm just loosely dumping it into the pots. I do tap it a few times and that just helps to firm it up. Leeks are just one of the many onions you can grow. It's mid-March now, so you could also be starting your large yellow onions, you could be starting your green onions, you could be starting your shallots, or if you feel like it, you can grow red onions. So all of these onions can be started now. Some people would prefer to start them in February. That's what I did with my leeks, because I find for me, leeks are extremely slow. So I do like to start them usually in February, but mid-March is not too late. So there we go, we've got a couple of little flats full. And I've got these little seedlings that I've separated apart. Now it's hard to see, but I'm just gently letting them sort of fall apart. I have literally hundreds. Okay, I have too many. I have hundreds of little seedlings, and here's how they look. And I know you can't really see them. They're long and skinny. And in this case, this one's really long and skinny. When the roots are too long, I just use my finger and my thumb and I pinch them just enough to shorten the roots so that the root's not a lot longer than the top. I use my finger to poke a hole, I drop it in that hole, firm it up. So this one's not too long. I'm handling these by the leaves. This one's not too long. I don't have to pinch it. Just put it straight in. And this really doesn't take very long. It's quite fun. Sometimes I lay them out ahead of time like this. I just sort of take the individuals and I lay them out. You can see they're not soaking wet. I didn't water them today. If you water them on the day that you're going to transplant them, they're just too stuck. They won't come apart this nicely. So these were watered, I'm guessing a couple of days ago, but I've kind of lost track. And I'll put one little seedling in each hole. So right now, I've just really got 2, 4, 6. I've just got 12 to transplant. So that should be pretty quick from now. And you can see this one is very long. So again, I'm going to pinch it, poke, and press. So looking easily at this, see that one, how long it is? Pinch it, poke it, and press it. This one doesn't need pinching, so I'm just going to poke it, press it. This one maybe pinch a bit. If you don't pinch them, you'll find the roots really get tangled up if they're too long. Now I'm using my finger to guide the actual little root into the hole. This one's a bit long. Cut a bit more off. Now there's kind of a fine line between they've been in their pots too long and all the roots are tangled up together, or they're just perfect. And these ones, as I said, are about a month old, these little seedlings. Started them about a month ago. I started them under heat because I find it takes quite a while to get onions sort of encouraged to germinate. So I put them on a heat mat, just in some Pro Mix, the same as I'm transplanting into today. Oops, that one's curled. If you ever see one that's curled, just take off that curl because it's just going to wrap around in the bottom of the pot. It's going to tangle itself up. It's not going to be a healthy root. There's another really long one with a bit of a curl in it. So I'll just pinch that one off. And one more. Oops, I need a bit more soil. Sometimes if you don't calculate right, you'll find that it's too deep. You don't want them to be too deep. So, all done. Just click them a bit, make sure they're nice and firm in there, and then gently, ever so gently, just water. So never put a huge hose on the plants at this stage. At this stage, you just want a small watering can. This is a great little Hawes watering can. I got it from a friend, which was a really nice gift. And I'm just using it to go around the seedling. So I'm not actually watering the seedling, I'm watering the soil around because I just want that soil to collapse around the root so that the water fills all the air spaces and we don't have a root that's dying of drought inside an otherwise moist container. So just by pouring that water around the seedling, it actually fills up all the little air spaces, and it means that there'll be moisture directly in contact with the root. So you saw me pressing it into the soil when I first put it in the container. That's all the pressing that's needed. These plants don't have to really be encouraged too much. You don't have to firm that soil up so hard that it's really tight, because that's not good either. That will squeeze out all the air spaces. And the Pro Mix is good for that actually. It just leaves some air, and a little bit of water like this helps to, and you can feel it's quite heavy. It takes a little bit of practice to see just the right amount of water, and I'll be checking these again in a day to make sure that they're not too dry, but I won't necessarily water them again tomorrow, because if you water them too much, they will rot at this stage. So this is a little seedling leek that I've just transplanted from a bunch of leeks that I started from seed that I saved. You can see I've still got a lot more transplanting to do, so I'm going to keep at it, and I'm going to join you next time when, maybe we'll look at some potato chitting. Have you ever done that? Let's do that next time. I'm Donna Balzer. Check out my webpage, donnabalzer.com.